negligence, safety issues, emotional distress, slander, suicide attempts, bullying, racially profiling, false allegation, malicious prosecution, and FERPA. I think that's enough to ask for 2.4, and I really feel like that ain't even enough. I really feel like at the end of this, I feel like everybody should be held accountable. All organizations, I'm talking about Smithton Middle School, Columbia Police Department, Juvenile Detention Center, Boone County Courthouse, the juvenile officer on call, Compass Health, Zoloft, who when they prescribe each other medication, all the people I want, Chris Jury, the principal, the secretary, Paula, all the police officer who was on call, the officer Ash, Chief Jones, Chris Collins, and his 3 cousins that he got to do the KKK hate crime against my daughter, the therapist, the psychiatrist, the sheriff, the juvenile officer on call, the juvenile officer who sent her to the juvenile detention center, Peter Stiepelman, Carla London, Mrs. Norwood, and Jennifer Ritzky. And with that being said, I think I've said a mouthful. I just want people to know that it is not okay to go around falsely accusing, falsely imprisoning, doing harmful things to a child. And she was only 14 at the time. She has to deal with this for the rest of her. What kind of things the CPS has been doing to me and my children, and the lies that I have proof and evidence of lies, and this ain't even it. I have a file that someone has, and then I have all these proof and evidence from the hospital stays. Just the retaliation of the trespassing, how Melita Walker lied on the trespassing. I have proof and evidence to back up everything that I do and that I got going on with me and my kids. And so that's why I'm fighting so hard.
Why have you struggled to have a lawyer who you mentioned that you have tried to talk to lawyers in town and that none of them will stand with you on this civil lawsuit? What's the reason behind that?
It's not finding a lawyer. It's I had a lawyer and I ended up firing them because they were holding confidential information from me, and I felt like if you're going to work with me and we're working as a team, you need to tell me everything. Don't hide anything from me, or otherwise I'm not going to feel comfortable with working with you. So I chose to leave that firm. And then we were in the process of mediation mode as of December of last year. They were going to do they were all for mediation when I had my first mediator. And then she went to a higher up position, which that's fine. And so she told me that it would be a conflict of interest, so I had to find someone else, which I found someone else, which was Lori Klein, to do my mediation. But her skills, she said that she didn't know enough about school law, so she didn't feel comfortable taking it. And then that's when I got Baker Partial, and then he came and told me that now they come with, oh, well, we don't want to do mediation unless she has an attorney. So now the mediation has stopped, and now I'm going forward with going to court. Absolutely. Take me there.
For your daughter, have you ever considered taking her out of CPS? Is she still in CPS?
Oh, listen, let me tell you. Oh, girl, I'm glad you asked me this, because 3 weeks ago, I've been waiting 3 weeks to this day. I've asked to take all of my kids out of CPS because of this trespassing, lying, falsified information. They have not gotten back to me. They were supposed to get superintendents involved. They were supposed to get all of me and my advocate involved to sit down and have a meeting to take my kids out. Do you know they have not called me? No. They're trying to see if they can put them in another school. Well, if you can put them in another school, what difference is that going to make on me when you have a trespassing on every school? Because Melita Walker cursed me out and attacked me, and she's still working there. So yeah, I've been trying to get my kids out. And and they know what they're doing. Of course, they're going to lose out on too much money if they let my kids out. They don't want to do that. We better figure something out because I'm not the one. And I'm not going to back down. I'm not going to sit down. I'm not going to shut up. And I'm going to speak up because my kids need me. And that's how I feel.
What was the law firm that you left originally that you were working with?
It was Rod Chapel at Nimrod. It was in Jefferson City, and he has one also in Kansas City. And also he was working with Rufus Tate.
So to clarify, you currently are not represented by an attorney for this
No,
lawsuit?
as a matter of fact, I am so dedicated in getting this, was so dedicated in getting this petition filed with or without an attorney. I myself wrote up my own petition in writing and had someone type it up, and I filed it before my deadline, just to let them know that I'm not playing. Just because I don't have a lawyer right now, it doesn't mean I don't want one. I'm looking for the right one. And whoever is willing to know and to take on my case and put some love and dedication and some time and some effort into this, this is a really big case. And they've really done wrong, tremendously. And this doesn't need to happen to anybody else. If people knew what I was going through on a daily basis, not only do my daughter do therapy and psychiatrist, I do too. Not only does my daughter take medication, yeah, so do I.
And so what are you accusing CPS and CPT of doing, CPD?
Well, I just want to...
What are you suing them for? What is the general basis of the lawsuit?
Can I just read these little 3 pages? This will tell you all the details.
3 pages is long.
Yeah, well, okay.
Just what is the lawsuit for, you know, and what are you asking for?
I'm asking for...
But what is it about first? You know what I mean? Like what are you accusing them of doing? What is the major wrongdoing of CPD and CPS?
Discrimination, false arrest, and false imprisonment.
Okay.
Emotional distress. I actually have, that's what I'm saying. Hold on, let me find my file, because I have actually all of those on file of everything that I did file with CPS. And I'm asking for, in the courts, $2.54 million. Just because
So it's
you can't put a time limit on the damages caused to my child, on the damages caused to her life, her brain functioning, the way she learns, the way she sits down, or the way she reads, the way she comprehends things. You can't put a time limit on that, on what it's going to take to get my daughter back to normal. So yeah, that's why I asked for that.
So you're asking 2.4 for
From CPD and CPS.
separately? 2.4
No, altogether.
each?
Altogether.
Okay. Are they separate lawsuits?
They're all together. On the...
It's the same lawsuit.
Yeah, so here's the, if you guys want the case number.
And so it's 2.4 for racial discrimination and wrongful imprisonment.
Yeah, actually, it's more than that. It's,
Okay.
It is discrimination against false imprisonment, racially profiled, false CPS report, wrongdoing, bullying, hate crimes, suicide attempts, negligence, emotional distress, learning disability, slander, racially profiling, verbal law, racial bias, racial profiling. Yeah, so those are the things that is actually in my petition to sue the court. So it's not just, I'm not just going after discrimination, I'm going after everything what is wrong with my child. Because my child was normal before this happened. My child was normal. Now I'm dealing with, you know, we done dealt with bullying, hate crimes, retaliation, you know, suicide attempts, suicide watches. Like, this is not acceptable, you know, to have a perfectly normal child who doesn't even expect respect or doesn't even want to be around any authority figures or even ask them any questions because she's afraid of what they might say or she's afraid of what they might do to her. You know, to not be able to go into, my daughter is so afraid. She's to the point where I have to give her a cell phone to take with her at school. The only reason why she feels comfortable at Rockbridge is because they've showed dedication and they've showed love and supporting her through her struggle.
Shout out Rockbridge.
If it wasn't for that, my daughter has had to deal with calling me because they have gotten out of line. And she put me on Facebook, Snapchat, on the FaceTime, and I tell them, hey, I was here, I know what happened, and if you weren't there, please stay out of it. you know, I've had to explain that to them. So it's always, I gotta give my daughter a phone because she doesn't trust anybody. And I don't mean to say this or put anything out there, but I can't lie about who I am. I'm a recovering addict of 5 years. I've been off of parole since January of 2020. I've been out of prison 3 years. I just got my kids back in 2018. I just lost my mother who lives here. This is her house, God rest her soul, when I was incarcerated, going on 3 years. And just because I'm a felon, or just because I have a criminal background or a drug use problem back in my day does not define who I am, and I am definitely not going to let you come in and manipulate the system and manipulate my children into believing anything, especially not a lie. So I didn't have to do anything but stand up for my children because it doesn't matter what I've been through or what I got going. I don't care. But what goes on and what with my future of my daughter and how you look at her and people portray her and talk to her, you better put respect behind her name. And that's what I'm here for.
You mentioned on our conversation the other day that you were planning to file for the other 3 kids as well for different issues.
Yes, absolutely. I filed 3 more complaints with the Attorney General as of January 25th, if I'm not mistaken. I have that case number, which is written down. It's written down. I'm sorry, girl. I'm gonna be all over the place. I can write stuff down really quick. But anyway, so my son was involved in. Hold on. So my daughter Ariana was at school in October. She went to school. This is how Melita Walker, which is the principal at West Junior, came to me. She said, Ms. Barnes, she called me and said, Ms. Barnes, I need you to go to the hospital. Your daughter has passed out and she's unconscious. And we're calling the ambulance and she's going to the hospital. When I got there, they stayed there. Miss Melita Walker stayed there for at least 4 to 5 hours with us, even in the emergency room. When I was back there with my daughter, they could not find anything that was wrong with her. My daughter stayed in there 3 days, and on the 3rd day, because I did not let Melita know what was going on, because it's an investigation, she had no idea that they found some type of not a mood stabilizer, but some type of tranquilizer drug in her system. So on the 3rd day, when they took us to St. Louis Hospital, they found something in her system, and that's when she explained that she was at breakfast, she had a powder substance. Steps in the hallway, went into the wrong classroom, got into the wrong classroom. The teacher asked her what her name was. She turned around and looked at the teacher, threw up everywhere, and passed out. My daughter was unconscious for 8 hours. Now, the only thing that I have to say about that is because Carla London and those are the 2 people that I am suing. So I don't understand why the next day that my daughter was in the hospital, that at 7:30 p.m. that Carla London showed up in my daughter's hospital room while I was not there and made it known to the nurse and my daughter and left a note, and I have that screenshotted, that, hi, this is Carla London, I'm your friend, I just came to check on you and your daughter. You won't even return my calls. You guys won't even hold anybody accountable. But you're showing up in my daughter's hospital room like we're friends. And then that's what I don't understand. Like the first day they did all the tests, nothing was found in her system. The second day, nothing was found in her system. The 3rd day, they found something in her system from taking those tests from Tuesday. So from the next day, the day before.
So you filed those 3 complaints?
Yes, I filed that one with that. I've also filed the one with my son, Jordan Brantley. December 6th, he was involved in a fight where he was jumped by 3 boys. Melita Walker did not call the police for my son. She actually lied on me in a trespassing paper saying that I cursed her and I yelled at her. But I'm a mother. I'm not an advocate when it comes to my kids. So I have every right to yell, but I wasn't yelling at you. But you, as an advocate for every child in Columbia, Missouri, are not supposed to yell or curse at me. That lady told me to shut the fuck up and get the fuck out in front of my son, in front of Glenn Cobbin Sr., and if it wasn't for Glenn Cobbin Sr. pushing her away from me, she would have attacked me. He was in the middle. So they went off of her hearsay instead of getting the video like I gotten, or the police report like I gotten. And so I filed a lawsuit on that because my son has health problems. And then my last
There's no lawsuit filed on that.
No, it's not a lawsuit. It's I filed my complaints that I'm gonna turn into lawsuits if they don't do nothing about it. And then my last son, Darion, a little white kid, brought a knife to school over 3 weeks ago. They're still investigating it. He didn't get suspended. He didn't go to jail. And my son is only in the 4th grade. Nothing is done. They're not taking it serious. I feel like I want to get this message out there that all parents should come out and speak up. If they went to Benton Elementary, everybody should do a safety issue on that school and STA, because that little boy has the knife there all day at school, and he brought it back on the bus and tried to stab someone. So, with that being said,
Yeah, thank you.
And so, you want to read your letter or no? You want me to read it? I have the paperwork from the sheriff department with.
Do you have the paperwork on that trespassing order?
Yep, here it is. She said in that paperwork, she said that I got kicked out by the police, escorted out by the police. I walked out with my friend here. She says that my son got arrested by the police. He never got arrested. He went home with me, you know.
I was there.
Yeah.
I can't believe you did it.
Yeah, you can actually scan on yours.
And that was another thing I wanted to get this press release out there, because I am looking for an attorney. I'm looking for a damn good one to take on these people, because one thing about it, I might be black, I might be, you know, have a past, but it doesn't define who I am, and I'm ready to take on whoever I need to take on, because at the end of the day, proof and evidence in real life is what's important, not falsified information.
Slow down, relax.
Have any attorneys reached out to you lately?
I've had a few. Actually, I have a couple of phone calls to make after this. And I just want to put this out there that this is actually, they're going to say that they sent, this is the letter that they say they sent me, and it got returned back. No, I got this letter November 6, 2019. This is the letter that you sent me, some piece of paper saying that they sent me and it got returned back. But they're trying to say they sent it in December. No, you did not. This is January. This is November. They're trying to say they sent me this because they sent that. No, I already got that. I just got that. You just sent that to me.
So say that again.
So when I went to go see them on,
When did the incident with your son happen?
December 6th.
December 6th.
December 9th is when I made a bullying report with Melina Walker and the school.
Okay.
And they haven't gotten back to me. Around December 20-something, that's when Miss Norwood at the school district, and Erica Dixon was there, no, he wasn't there, told me that they had sent a letter out and it got returned back. And I said, well, where's the letter with the stamped envelope? And she said, well, we don't have it. So they tried to say that they sent me a letter and they sent this, and then so when they filed their motion, they put on there that I found out about the trespassing in December 17th, but technically Erica Dixon and I have this on file. I didn't get this actual paper until January 14th, a couple of days before I filed my own ex parte, because this was falsified information. So I'm just saying that this is proof that they were lying, saying that they sent me something for this letter.
Do you have copies of the complaints that you turned into the Attorney General's office?
I called them, but I do have my case number, password, and stuff if you want.
Pretty organized, isn't she?
And then
Everyone was like this when they came with this story.
here's like, you know, the ex parte that I filed, that she tried to put a motion and there's falsified information in there.
Gag order, you got the gag order.
Yeah, I think that gag order's in there too. And here's our motion of the summons that I wrote up that they actually do not take serious.
After filing the lawsuit, have they reached out to you at all? Have you heard a response from either
When I filed the petition, they called my mediator, Cheryl Miller, and told her that they were ready to do mediation and asked me what my demands and my offer was. And then when Cheryl didn't take on the case and Lori didn't take on the case because they didn't they didn't feel like they were ready. Then they came with, well, we want you to have an attorney. We're not looking for mediation. So it's fine. I don't need you to. And then here is the petition of the civil suit that's filed on KSAT. Here is an entry of,
This is the petition for Anaya,
yes.
the one that we have to paper.
Yeah.
And there is another motion that Ms. Malika Walker, they didn't never send it to me, but they sent it through the email of a motion that Malika Walker and the attorneys filed on her behalf, but all through it is so many lies, and I'm just ready to get all my evidence together so I can bust them at their own game.
And I just want to check again the name of the law firm that you had been with originally out of Jeff City.
It was Rod Chapel and Nimrod. Rod Chapel, Nimrod.
It's in that lawsuit.
It's in this one.
Yeah.
About.
They mention it right there.
Okay.
The council, because they're not gonna get any money.
And then, here is actually, I think you guys have the fight, but here is of everything Nimrod filed on my behalf, and this is everything that is filed on Anaya's case through my old attorneys, and this is the video of the actual fight of the footage from the police department. Yeah, I don't know if you guys want to. I know, keep that, but I'm just saying, like, if you guys wanted a copy of it or whatever, just let me know and I can.
If there was a way you could, if you have it on a computer somewhere, easily email it to.
I do. I can get my email.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Kim and Missouri, that would be really helpful. Because honestly, you know that I don't know where city room is. We just updated everything out. It's just like how you get a new car and you no longer have like a CD player.
Right. I know. God.
It's killing.
And so on January 29th is when January 28th is when I actually called them and told them, you know what, I'm not going to go forward with my ex parte because I feel like this is bigger than Columbia, Missouri. This needs to go nationwide because you guys are doing a lot of illegal stuff that's not acceptable, not okay. And I'm here to just tell her how it is. But I thank you guys for listening to my story and getting it out there.
Yeah, no, thank you for.
Will the air, or are you gonna wait and investigate more? Get the other side of the story or something like that?
I have to talk to my editor. We can't promise anything yet.
I had to do kind of the same.
Yeah, of course,
Take
yeah.
everything I got back, but this most likely will air tonight at 5 and 6, and probably also at 9 and 10. Unless something changes, but yeah, I think we were just gonna do the basics of you filed the suit
Yeah.
and talk about that, and that
Yeah.
we've reached out to CPS and CP for from, and they haven't gotten
They're
back.
not going.
Of course they're not going to.
No, we have to do that though, you know.
Yeah.
Go through the motions.
Yeah, that's why he was probably laughing when you were like, have you thought about getting your kids out? Yeah, I've been talking about getting them out. They don't want to take them out. They don't take my kids out at all. Come on, little girl, you ready?
Yeah. My brother texted me on here.
Close the windows back up.
You hear me? Carl?
Oh yeah?
Mm-hmm. He said, he said, Lil sis, you good. And I
Did you say
said,
yeah? Dang.
yeah. I said, yeah. And then I said, I talked to Dad today.
That's your poems.
Oh yeah, she puts a lot of her what she's going through in her paperwork now. So
I mean, her poems.
beautiful.
You seem super proud.
I'm,
Lock
yeah.
the bottom. I gotta lock the bottom. Hold on.
It's freezing out here. done with the press.
Huh?
Done with the press.
What?
We're done with the press conference.
Yes. Big boy. Very good.
Really?
Very good. Yeah, good. Damn good. Damn good.
You think it's on air?
No. Tell that in.